Hey guys, it's Satya Millennial Cure. Millennial Cure is your ultimate cure for Sunday anxiety. And today we're going to be talking about the pillars of happiness. And I find in my experience, I have notes today, I find in my experience that in the past I had thought about happiness as being an accumulation of wealth. I thought that, happiness meant that I was successful, and being successful meant that I had accumulated wealth. It meant that, I'd accumulated a six-figure plus income. And, I was going to be happy. And unfortunately, wealth accumulation in and of itself does not mean that you're going to be happy. There are several things when I think about happiness. And here's a few things. One is relationships, health, your calling, and then the last one is spirituality. And when I think about relationships, what I really am thinking about is relationships, not just your biological relationships, those are extremely important, but the ones that you are coming into, right? Perhaps in the company you work for, in the company you own, perhaps at different events, perhaps you have friends. Those relationships are so vital to your well-being. I'm telling you, there's so much that I've gone through. One particular relationship that I have is with a wonderful friend of mine, and we have just breached that boundary of friendship, and we're like sisters, and it's a wonderful thing because we keep investing in each other, and we keep investing in that relationship that we have, because I realize that at the end of the day, that when I have moments in life of happiness and of not so happiness, that I have those relationships to, in a sense, kind of fall back on. And vice versa. If those people need me as well, I am there for them. In relationships when it comes to business, when I first started my business, I realized real quickly that in order for me to be successful, I was going to have to put myself out there, and I was going to have to go out of my way to meet the people who were going to impact my business. And I was wanting to also learn from those people. So what I did was right away, I started going to different commerce meetings and stuff. These meetings are like 7 o'clock in the morning, hour or 2 hour long meetings. And I would meet CEOs of companies. I would meet whatever, people who have obviously done really, really well for themselves. And I found that the more I got around people of a higher caliber, people who had not just money, but who had influence as well, it gave me it kind of transferred on to me where my confidence improved greatly. And not that I had bad confidence before, but even more so because I was not only reading and inundating myself with knowledge, but I was also putting myself out there. So relationships are super important, and the great thing about having those relationships is finding a way in which you can also help those people, right? So I have a friend of mine, and we're new friends, actually, and we sat down recently. I believe he just published his book. And the cool thing about our meeting is right after our meeting, he texted me a nice message telling me that it was nice to meet me, and he was looking forward to our continued business relationship. And I thought that was so unique. And then when I went home, I checked my social media, and he had already friended me on Facebook. And come to find out, because of that gentleman, I had several connections that I made. He sells homes and luxury apartments and things like that. You think if I knew anyone who needed a home or a luxury apartment, who would be the first person that I would call right away? I would totally call him, because I realize that if he's willing to invest in me, then heck, I should be willing to invest in him as well, right? And the next pillar of happiness that I really want to talk about is health. About a year ago, I had a bit of a wake-up call, and not that I was absolutely unhealthy, and I've always taken organic vitamins, I take care of myself, but I was at a point where I was getting very excruciating pain, and I decided to go to a holistic doctor and an acupuncturist. And when I went to the acupuncturist, 2 minutes before he walked into the room, my mom calls me to tell me that one of my favorite cousins had just passed away. It was a very, very hard day, and after the doctor walked into the room, he tells me that, hey, we've got to talk, that your body's accumulating aluminum, and this aluminum is affecting your lung and your thyroid. And if you know of anyone who's had issues with their thyroid, then you know that their energy level is really, really low. And then you also know that, you know, constantly tired, constantly exhausted. You also probably have a hard time losing weight, and there are so many things that you can't eat that will affect your body. So he gave me some recommendations, and the thing that he said to me was, right now you've got little problems. For a lot of us, we've got little problems, right? And in order for those problems to remain little, we've got to take calculated decisions that will actually positively affect our life and our health. So if you need to lose some weight, then you need to go out there and get it done. If you're like me, you probably don't have time to go to the gym. What I do is I make sure every single day I choose morning or afternoon, depending on my schedule, and I go out for a run/walk, right? And I do that almost every single day based on the things that was going on with my body. I started juicing. I went from 120 pounds to about, I believe I'm at 110 right now. And it's not just about losing the weight, but it's about, you know, feeling good about myself, and not only that, but about taking care of my health. It's better to find prevention than to find a cure. The last thing you want to do is to find a cure, because that's when you're in trouble. First of all, paying for meds and paying for the price of bad health affects not only you, but it affects the people that care about you the most. So take care of your health. Do whatever you have to do. You know, you can't enjoy wealth or relationships or spirituality if your health is deteriorating. So that's something you want to take care of. And your calling, you know, there's something that you're called to do with your life. And that thing, you really have to search deep down if you haven't found it. And for me personally, it took me a while to figure out what that thing was. And I found that when I realized what it was, I realized that it not only would make an impact on my life, but it would impact so many other people. And I understood that tapping into my calling was also tapping into my winner's stride. It was tapping into that moment where I knew that regardless of what was going on in my life, that I could make it happen. I could do it. I could not only educate myself and get the knowledge and become good at the thing that I wanted to do, but not only that, but I can work my butt off at getting it done, right? Because anything that's worth accomplishing will require you to be disciplined, and will require you to work. It will require you to do whatever it takes. And when you find your calling, you'll find that there are moments in your life where, or in moments of your days, that you're like, okay, I'm not gonna half-aid it. I'm gonna just totally do the best job that I can do. Sometime this week, I was working on something, and I was up until like 3 in the morning working on this thing. And the next morning, I realized that I absolutely missed something very, very important. And in order to make it right, I had to do the entire thing over again. Hours and hours and hours lost. Of course, at first, I was a bit frustrated about that. But I realized that in my winner's stride, that the person that I am, and the kind of values that I want to edify in my life, meant that I had to excel at that thing, and I had to not make it perfect, but make it right. I wasn't going to put something out there that was less than what I knew it could be. Okay, so I hope you feel that way about the things that you're doing. I hope you feel that way about your life as well, and about your calling. And search deep down to find the thing that you're really called to do. Okay, spirituality. I find that so many of us pray for an open door, but the thing that we really need to pray for is an open heart, open mind. Don't wish for less challenges. Gain more knowledge. Don't wish for life to be better. You be better. I'm not a very ritualistic person or a very religious type of person, but I have to say that I'm pretty spiritual. And that really comes from knowing that there's something greater that exists beyond me. I've always been someone who prays quite a bit, and that's because I've gone through quite a bit in my childhood and life to date. And I know that there's definitely something greater than me, and nothing that I do, I don't do anything without that knowledge of knowing that there's something greater than me out there. And I understood as well in spirituality, it has given me so much balance and clarity of thinking and tranquility and calmness in my life that doesn't matter what is going on around me. There could be a crazy mess that's going on around me. I realize that nothing good happens in anger. Nothing positive happens in getting all messed up and all, I don't know, just overly negatively excited, right? So I pride myself in the power of forgiveness, and I pride myself in the power of calmness, okay? Because I realize that the more control I have over my emotions, and not to say that you don't have emotions, but to have that that mentality that, the more structure of mindset that I have when it comes to remaining calm and not reacting, the better it is for me in the long run, right? So there are so many things about happiness that is so important. And I talked about money will always be there. You can't earn back your time, but you can always earn back money, right? And I found that there should be a balance in everything, but there are going to be moments in your life, obviously, if you're an entrepreneur and you're in a moment, in a point in your life where you're accomplishing a goal and you're out there and you're fighting for that goal, and there's certain parts of your life that's going to be out of balance because you're not going to have perfect balance all the time, So when you're accomplishing that particular goal, then there'll be moments when, you're going to have to say, okay, my relationships will have to, I can't make every party, every get-together, every outing, because, I know the direction that my life is moving in. I know that I'm tapping into my calling, and that's why this thing is so important to me, right? So I hope that the pillars of happiness, you're heading towards the pillars of happiness, or if you've already attained them, we want to know what is it that you're doing to attain your moments of happiness. We want to know what is it that you're doing to revolutionize the way that you live life and you live it well. I'd love to hear from you, so definitely leave some comments, subscribe, and head on over to millennialcure.com and definitely let me know what you think about the article and the video. So have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye.